Breaking news, my country people. In a shocking development, Obasanjo has been exposed of deliberately blocking efforts to distribute electricity to Akwaibom State. Now, this shocking disclosure is coming from the former Akwaibom State Governor, Victor Attah, as he alleges that the ex-president Olusegun Obasanjo prevented him from distributing the electricity to the state despite constructing a power plant. Now, he claimed that Olusegun Obasanjo prevented him from supplying electricity to the residents of the South State following the completion of the 191 megawatts power generation facility. Now, Attah, who served as a governor of Akwaibom State from 1999 to 2007 and during Obasanjo's tenure as president, as the Nigeria's democratically elected president, stated that at that time, Olusegun Obasanjo directed that electricity produced by the Akwaibom power plant be integrated into the national grid. And guys, he made this known during an appearance as a guest of the Friday episode of Inside Sources, where Attah criticized the existing construction and the structure in the country, suggesting that a new construction and a federal arrangement would empower federating units to have equal authority rather than being, subordinate. Insisted that the current system, known as the Constitution, is authoritarian because it was established by military forces. So he mentioned how Obasanjo thwarted efforts when he was the governor of Akwaibom State back then. How he thwarted efforts, and the then Minister of Finance Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala had suggested that they should decentralize power generation and distribution. But then Attah mentioned that he was affiliated with the People's Democratic Party at that time, suggesting Obasanjo's disapproval stemmed not from party's politics but rather from a flawed federal arrangement, where he expressed that these issues wasn't about party issues, but it was rather on our current non-federal constitution. I mean, if we claim we practice a true federal system, then all these things will not be happening. So, my country people, Attah also praised the amendment of the Electricity Act 2023, which greatly expands opportunities for other states to enter the power sector, allowing them to generate and distribute electricity, as well as oversee regulations within their jurisdiction without the interference of the federal government. So this is really a welcoming development. And the current governor of Akwaibom State, Umoeno, is also making significant efforts to establish an Akwaibom power company that will both generate and also distribute electricity to residents. For many years, Nigeria has struggled with persistent energy issues due to the erratic power supply that greatly impacts productivity. Although the electricity sector was privatized and challenges such as policy inconsistency, insufficient investment and operational problems continues to plunge the power generation, transmission and distribution in Nigeria. But as it is now, we are also facing difficulties. All these difficulties are still ongoing. You see how the national grid keeps on collapsing. On every Eke market day, the national grid will collapse. There is no day will go by without us hearing that the national grid would collapse. Last month, December 2024, the grid collapsed about 4 times, for December 2024. We also heard news of it collapsing this January although they said we should dismiss those claims. But then, what can we say? So this former Akwaibom governor, Victor Attah, has opened up on what Obasanjo did back then, how he prevented him from distributing electricity to the states, how he prevented him. Now look at what's happening currently in our electrical space, because most times the Federal Transmission Company of Nigeria really made comments regarding why Nigerians are being thrown into darkness on several occasions due to the constant vandalizations of transmission lines. How those underground cables supplying powers to different places are being vandalized. They are being stolen by scavengers. That people are going there to destroy these transmission cables. That's why most times they are having issues with it. Even when they tried fixing it December, when we keep on having when we're having constant grid collapse, they also met some challenges and difficulties where they allegedly said that they met some terrorist gangs that were asking them for money, that they should settle them first before they would fix the national grid. So my country people, it's just so unfortunate that this governor is actually coming out now to open up on what he experienced, what he went through under Obasanjo. So guys, what are your thoughts on this? It was said that Olusegun Obasanjo, did not permit the construction of the Akwaibom power plant. And had it been this was achieved, Akwaibom by now would have achieved a 24-hour power supply. But now the federal government under Olusegun Obasanjo, really stopped that. And all he wanted to do was to provide an uninterrupted power for the people of Akwaibom State, for Akwaibom. And the governor, I beg your pardon, the president, Olusegun Obasanjo, back then said no, he should not engage in that. Now, Attah lamented that funds used to build the power plants were sourced entirely from the state's resources, and despite this, the federal system compelled the state to surrender the control of the plant, thereby depriving Akwaibom residents of the reliable power supply he envisioned for them. He expressed his disappointment that this centralized approach has really stiffened progress across the country. The former governor further criticized the nation's constitution, describing it as an authoritarian document imposed by the military, where he emphasized the need for a return to the constitution agreed upon by Nigeria's founding fathers at independence. He stressed that true federalism is essential for the country's development, but what we are practicing is not really true federalism. So, Attah's comments comes against the backdrops of Nigeria's long-standing electricity challenges. Despite privatizing the sector, the country continues to grapple with all these, issues, inadequate infrastructure, inconsistent policies, and these issues has really stiffened industrial growth and has negatively impacted productivity in Nigeria. Guys, I'm dropping here. Kindly share your thoughts on this in the comments section. Thank you.